Welcome back to a new year, another episode in the Wildlands Garden. We've got an exciting new series for you tonight. We're going back to July, where we started creating our new garden, which is a permaculture inspired garden, and it's a food forest. So we're going to show you from the very first stages how to create a food forest. It's a slightly different food forest because it's an experiment where we're growing lots of bananas to create shade. We're also seeing which of many different varieties of bananas will fruit in our climate, and also we're growing in much straighter rows than you would normally grow in a food forest, but we're planting very densely. And this garden is for our new nursery business here on the Wildlands, where we're growing lots of plants and selling plants. But first we need to get ready for one of our first open days at our new nursery.
So we're going to tidy up the nursery, ready for having visitors?
Yep, so we're going to get rid of any plants that have struggled through the summer, give them a trim, move a few things around, work out what we've got for sale for the open day, and get ready for that. We've had a plant order in for the nursery, so we thought we'd unbox it, show you what we got, because it's exciting, we like plants.
We do. What have we got? Hey, we ordered some plastic.
Great.
Oh no.
Oh, we've got to get rid of all that now.
They've sent these.
Oh no.
Oh, that's not good, is it?
No.
I can see plants.
Look in there, little plants.
Little plant babies. What is it? What is it?
That is a Rubus pentalobus emerald carpet.
That is a creeping raspberry, and it has bright orange raspberries, and it creeps along the ground.
Humulus lupulus.
Hops. Great.
Nice.
This is a Lipia dulcis. The sweet verbena herb of the Aztecs, that is.
Wow, good memory.
Thank you. You can use the leaves to make a bit like stevia, to make a sweetener for cakes and baking and stuff.
So there we are, a little plant order. So next it's back to that tidying, ready for the open day.
No, first it's hiding from the rain.
Oh, does that mean it's time for a cold beer?
No.
So that is our plant order. So this is mainly stock for the nursery, so it's not for sale. So things like this ginger, which is a Japanese ginger, we will split that into two. As you can see, there are two plants in there, and then we'll grow it on until it's ready. And that applies to other plants too. And then the rosemary that Missy was particularly excited about. This is an unusual rosemary, it's a creeping rosemary, so it's not your common rosemary. So that we will take cuttings of, and we won't sell it until we've probably got about 20 or so cuttings that have rooted. So plenty of work to do there on the plant order that's just arrived. So if I spin you around, I'll show you what we've been doing to get ready for our open day. So firstly, we've been trimming and tidying these plants, or all of our plants. We haven't quite finished yet. So we've got rosemaries here. These are ones that we took, these are common rosemary, and we took cuttings of those last year. So you can see it'll be the same principle. Honeysuckles, walking onions, so they've all been tidied up. And then we come round, we've got lots of bamboos. These ones are not for sale. They've not long arrived, probably about 2 months ago, and they've been propagated. Most of them have taken. You can see, if I take you down the bottom of the pot, like this one here, it's got lots of new shoots. This one's got new shoots too, and so on. This one here, it's got a new shoot there as well. And then these dwarf bamboos, which are looking very sad where they've been split. They've got new shoots at the bottom too. And then we've got normal stocks of Chinese bananas, new bananas for the new nursery that we're building as part of the 40-day challenge. We've got Madeiran bananas there. They're all ready to be sold for spinning around. We've got bananas that are propagated out of the wildlands banana circle. They're ready to go. Got common ginger or normal ginger. We've got variegated gingers, they're not for sale. So all of this has been tidied. This is an order for our friend Helios. It's ready to go to his place. We've got more bananas in different sizes here, ready to go. Some of the mess we've cleaned out. Oh look, these are exciting. These are also new gingers, and the bulbs were planted. Like you can see, they're just coming up here. Bulbs planted probably about a month ago. And then we've got honeysuckle in white, honeysuckle in red, they're for sale. And a lot of these are new plants but also for sale. So we've got a wormwood that's being collected. We've got perennial lettuces here ready to go. Missy's stuff ready to go. Globe artichokes ready to go. So lots ready to go. All these bamboos here, they're all ready to be sold and tidied. These are ones that have been propagated, but some of these here are ready to be sold potentially. And then we've got more down here that are looking very sad, that have been trimmed and split, but you can see again they've got new shoots coming. So in the spring this will come off and there'll be lots of new growth. And then we've got carnas at the back, mainly not for sale. These are edible carnas. They're going to go in the new garden at the top, which is part of the 40-day challenge. And then we've got, oh, look at these beautiful flowers here. These are gazinias. RHS Talents, wonderful, grew these from seed. All different colours. Look at those, aren't they stunning? So they will be for sale. So we'll see how many of those we can sell. So there we go. So we're in the new nursery garden, and those of you new to the channel, we call it the nursery garden because the wildlands is also a small plant nursery, a growing plant nursery, and this is an expansion. So we've got 3 new terraces that were built by Frank with his digger a few months back, and what we're doing is this top terrace is going to have 2 large 3-meter shade structures, and then we'll use this area for storing potted plants. At the front here we're going to put a fence in and wire, and we're going to grow plants up that and plants down the ridge. And then we've got 2 narrow terraces which have got 2 long beds of about 1.5 meters each, so that's 4 big beds, and we're going to plant that up with plants that we're growing on for the nursery. So for example, if you had a big clump of hostas, we can grow it in the ground, and then every couple of years we can lift them, take some off, put them in pots, and then sell them in the nursery. So today we're getting all these bits of 3-meter timber down. Here comes Missy with one now, and we're going to mark out where we've got to dig the holes ready for tomorrow when Paul comes with his cement mixer to help us put these in the ground. So it's another glorious day at the wildlands, and we're back on the nursery build, and today we've also got Beardy Builder over with us helping us with the cementing from Frugal Family Off-Grid. I'll put a link to them down below, worth following them. They're a family living like us off-grid, and they're doing a lot of alternative building on their land, so worth a watch. And today, so he's over with his cement mixer, and today we're going to get the structure up. So we got one half of the first structure made, everything is ready and cut to size and bolts in situ. So Missy and I are just going to make the second half of the first structure, and then we're going to lift it into place. We've got these holes either side of me, you can see, and we'll be cementing the structure in. So off we go.
Week 3, and we've had to take a break from our work in the cabin on the stairs to come outside, and we had our friend Paul over to help us build this structure. It looks more like a jungle gym than anything. Do you want to explain what it is for?
Yep, so this is our new nursery area that I've mentioned briefly on previous videos. So it's basically 3 terraces, of which this is the top one. So what we're going to have is at the very back against the rocks, we're going to have bamboo. Then here in this gap to the left of the olive tree, we're going to have some almond trees, and then these strange structures are going to have shade material over the top, and then underneath here is going to be rows of pots for our plant nursery. And then along the front here, when these are out the way, it will be a path, and then in front of the path will be a row of berries and trees and so on, and then the nursery carries on. So the idea is that we can store pots here that we're growing on and or propagating, and then in the lower terraces we can plant plants that again we want to grow on and get bigger clumps before we raise them and split them to sell in the nursery. And this morning the first job we did in the nursery was to take down the supports that we put up to keep it upright while the cement was set.
Yep.
Cement is all rock hard, so they come off, and then a bit of raking to flatten it out, and then we're back on to finishing the borders before we get planting.
Yes, and we're going to show you what new plants we bought to go in them.
Oh, that is exciting. And now the rain has stopped and we've got a sunny but chilly day. We're back in the new nursery garden, and you can see the plants that we've started bringing down.
Lots of lovely plants.
So this is our trees and our berries, but we do have more trees in the nursery garden to still keep bringing up. So what have we got here?
With the trees, we've got a couple of Granny Smiths, because we're obviously only choosing plants that we like to eat. That's quite a fundamental thing about gardening, but so many people forget. They just get chucking in whatever they think they're supposed to grow. So we're only growing varieties of apple that we like to eat. So we've got Granny Smiths, we've got a Portuguese traditional variety. I'm going to murder the Portuguese now. It's called Macera Porta da Loja, and you can eat it fresh or cooked. You start picking them in autumn, so they're a late apple, and they're good for saving through the winter.
Yep.
So we thought that would be a really good thing to get.
And apple-wise, we also looked at earlies and lates, so that you can have a longer pick off the tree to eat crop.
Absolutely. Then we have a couple of pears. We have a pair of pears. Different types though. We have a Rocha, which is a soft pear, I think, and a Williams Rouge, which are my favourite kind of pear.
And the Rocha, again, is a native Portuguese type, although it is grown around the world.
Lovely. So that's it for the trees.
All
Oh,
right.
what have you got there?
Right, here I've got Peruvian lilacs. I'm very excited about them. This apparently is the fastest growing tree for our climate, and we got it from Keela Yoga Farm, quite a well-known YouTuber as well, so really excited about that. And what they've said is if you pinch off the side branches in the spring, then it gets really, really tall. And they said that they have a tree that was 6 or 7 years old and it had a trunk like this, and it was super tall.
Sounds great.
So that is primarily to give us shade and the lovely scent of the flowers as well, so it's not an edible tree per se.
Hi, Bob.
Hello, Bob. Hello, mate.
What else do we have here? We've got some red currants, because they're always good in the understories of under trees. We've got some raspberries. What else? Oh, these are exciting. We chose passion fruits. Neither of us are particularly excited about eating passion fruits, but the passion flowers, before they make the fruit, I'd love to pick and dry for tea, because they're very good in herbal medicines and teas. And we're going to try growing those up and over the shade structure.
Yep. So that's exciting. And then we've also got a gold or yellow raspberry.
Oh.
And the raspberries have got multiple shoots, so I think we'll split them as well. And as I've mentioned before, so the trees and the berries are going on the kind of borderlines of each terrace level to partly provide shade and also to be next to the path and give us a bit of height. So we'll plant trees for the canopies. Obviously it's going to take a few years to grow, and then the berries are underneath. And then we've also got about 100 strawberry plants, dry bare rooted ones, which have now started shooting since I put them in water.
Very exciting. And we've got a juniper. We're going to grow juniper. I've never grown juniper before, but apparently it's very easy and likes climate here. That also came from Keela Yoga Farm. And I've got one to put in the food forest as a trial and one to put up here. And if we're lucky and they're female, we'll get juniper berries, which I could use for flavouring gin.
And you do like a gin, don't you?
I do, yeah.
And also down in the nursery to come up to be planted here, we've got some gooseberries. We've got multiple orange trees of different types, again earlies and late, so that's really exciting. We've also got a really large mature orange tree that was a present from your dad.
Yeah.
So really excited about putting that in. That's in a huge tub, so heavy that we can't lift it between us. So I'm not really sure A, how we're going to get it down here, and B, how we're going to be able to plant it, because it's in a 65 litre barrel, I think.
Yeah, we can't lift it even between us. In fact, we can barely drag it, slide it along the gravel. So we could probably drag it all the way down here, but then lifting it out of the pot and putting it in the ground, I have no idea.
No.
I'm going to need a winch.
Yeah, we'll have to get some help on that. And then we've got to find a terrace that has enough depth of soil before we hit boulders that we can get it in the ground. So that's going to be a challenge. So
I think Bob's come to help us.
Bob's come to assist us today.
Going to help us dig holes.
And some of our longer viewers will remember Bob. We've mentioned him a few times before. Bob was living on the land when we arrived, and he didn't speak to us, but he watched us from afar. It took him 2 years to speak to us, but now we feed him and he's very sociable, aren't you?
Not sure if he's on camera. I'll lift you up a little bit so you see on camera.
Oh, he's got a big purr on.
There we go. That's Bob.
Hello mate, you're going to help us in the garden. He's supervising today. So the next job is not the most exciting because we can't plant yet. The next job is to finish off the wheelbarrows of compost and earth and bark on the last terrace.
Yep.
And I think we get all of that finished.
Yep.
And then also off camera you can see maybe behind me that pile there, which is 3 wheelbarrows full of chicken manure, well rotted, ready to go on the garden. I'm going to keep bringing that up. That's going to be randomly sprinkled on the beds to build up the organic matter, as it's the first time growing here since obviously Frank dug it all over. So let's go on to the barrows.
Yay!
Yay. So the first tree to go in the new garden is an almond, and he's going in line with the twin olives and the oak at the end, and he's going to get very, very big. So I think probably a little bit that way, or maybe not. There's a boulder here, so it might depend. So that's boulder, boulder. Well, that's the end of that then, isn't it? So yeah, it's a no-go here, I think. Yeah, no, rock hard. Sakes. So thwarted. Couldn't put my almond trees at the back there because of granite, which was about that far down. And then the next job was to put a fence along here from the end to the beginning, which was kind of like a half, like maybe put the bores off kind of thing, which wouldn't have made a difference, but it would have ended the garden. No go again, too much granite, so no fence posts. Got the first fence post in there, can get another one in way down there, but nothing here at all. It's like this deep, so that's also going to give us problems with trees at that end. So we can plant trees at this end, but probably not at that end. So challenging off-grid nursery gardening. Planted all our main trees, so I thought we'd have a walk round, the two of us, and show you what we've planted. So we've got a Avory, which is an orange, and it's supposedly a big orange. And then we've got a gooseberry. We've got another orange. This one is a Baia, B-A-I-A, worth making a note.
Two red raspberries.
Yep, nice. And then another orange. Could be Navaliada, it's terrible writing, but another orange. And then two yellow raspberries.
Very nice.
And then nothing planted in the second bed yet, so we go up to the second terrace. And then we've got the local apple tree that Missy told about earlier, so it's my turn to show you my excellent Portuguese. So it's a Macieira Porta da Loja. So a local apple, very sweet. Missy told about that earlier. So this is our apple row now, which is exciting, isn't it? Then we've got red currant, the first of our apples, which is a Granny Smith, another red currant, and another Granny Smith. Nice. And then on the end, slightly taller, different type, but another red currant. And then we have started planting the second bed. So here we've got a pineapple sage. Oh no, I've missed one. Oh, that's exciting. It's a nice pear. Do like a nice pear. And this one is a pear. Which one is it? It's the Williams Red. So Williams Red, nice. And then a pineapple sage, which Missy grew from cuttings, lovely. And then we've got a viola that was in the bottom of the pot with a ginkgo, that's correct, isn't it? And then the other pear, which I think is a roja, yeah, roja, which is the Portuguese variety. Nice crispy, but also for me, you can let it get really ripe and it's nice and juicy. And then we're up at the shade level, and you remember these attractive structures are going to have shade netting on the top. Many nursery pots on the floor. So we have planted a few things here. We've got 2 different passion flowers that Missy also mentioned earlier, telling you that we're not a great fan of eating the fruits, but we want the flowers for tea. So we've got 2 different types, I believe. So we have a roja, which is a red skin with a kind of gold inside. That one there. And then on the other side, we have a maracuja amarelo. Very pretty, quite small. And we're going to train these up here and along the top. That'll be nice. Then we've got stuff that we've yet to plant, but there's more. There is more. If we go back up here, and you'll have seen me cutting the brush out to make room for this lovely plant. This is a tree, and it is the black mulberry. And what's really exciting about that, I was given that as a present by Bruno and Retty the year before last, and it's got very big, had very long roots, and it's finally in the ground. Really excited about growing that into a large berry providing plant. Wonderful plant. So next is really exciting, isn't it? What have we got next here?
We're going to plant what we're calling the herbaceous plants. So we're going to have things like comfrey and yarrow planted in big old blocks. That's really what these beds are for, so that we can grow things on and they can spread and get really big and get their roots down deep. And then in a year or 2 years we can start digging up small chunks, splitting them, putting those in pots, and then they'll be available to buy in the nursery.
Yep.
Sorry, I was just going to say, because plants really do prefer to have their roots deep in the ground, get as big as they can. They're not that keen on staying in pots for a long time.
And I'm really excited because the bed behind me, I've got 5 different bananas that I'm basically using as an experiment to see which of the 5, maybe all of them, none of them, but which of them fruit first and whether they fruit, how big they get and how well they deal with the cold in the winter here and the 40 degrees in the summer. The other good thing about that is they're in the ground, so they'll get big, like Missy said, 4 or 5 metres, providing us with shade and biomass.
And they're going to chuck out little pups.
They are, which we can then take out to propagate on to be part of the nursery, which is why it's the nursery beds.
Absolutely.
And also in the end here, where we've got some very shallow beds because they're on boulders, going to put lots of carnas, which again will provide us with food. They'll multiply for selling on in the nursery.
Yep. And you get biomass.
And biomass
to put in your compost.
For our compost bin.
Maybe sneak a few leaves over to the chickens.
Oh, I think so, yeah.
So yeah, this area's really come along well.
Yeah. So thanks again for watching on another week on the Wildlands.
And for cheering us on in the comments.
Absolutely, really enjoying your comments. Been lovely, thank you very much.
And we'll see you again soon on the other side of our Halloween party.
With a hangover next week.
Bye.
Bye.